When did America start basically just sort of representing what Moscow thinks? Those countries wanted to be part of the NATO club. Your club. Are you saying that they should never have been allowed to exercise their democratic and sovereign rights as nations and join that club?
Oh, God. You know what? I don't like having my words twisted. No, I really don't.
You don't like... Well, but that's the point of an interview, isn't it? Is to discuss what you're saying. And I'm just asking you... You're saying... With respect, Doctor, I'm just trying to understand what you're saying. You're saying that those countries should never have been allowed to join NATO, and then we wouldn't have been in this situation. And I'm saying to you that surely those countries should have been allowed...
No, I didn't say that. Well, see, that's why... No.
You're about to watch something that almost never happens. A British reporter refusing to let a Trump defender hide behind talking points. Before we dive into the full story, comment where you're watching from. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. In this clip, he calmly presses, follows up, and forces the contradictions into the open. No escape routes, no soft landings. And by the end, you'll see what happens when scripted loyalty meets real scrutiny live on air.
I've got to turn now to, as promised, to Dr. Jan Halper-Hayes, former Global Vice President of Republicans Overseas, as advisor to Donald Trump's 2017 transition team. Dr. Halper-Hayes, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Do you understand why so many in this country and in Europe more generally would have seen what happened in the Oval Office as an attempt to humiliate President Zelensky and be repulsed by it?
Well, if they watched all 53 minutes, then I don't think they would have that feeling. If they saw clips of it, which of course will be clips of J.D. Vance and Trump being very angry with Zelensky, then of course they would come to that.
Could you imagine President Trump speaking to, say, President Putin in that way? And isn't it precisely the point that he wouldn't, that is part of the problem?
Well, if President Putin pushed him the way Zelensky pushed Trump,
what did Zelensky do? What did he do that was so egregious in your view?
Well, one is that he started litigating the 2014. He said, I don't want a ceasefire.
He said he wants peace repeatedly. He just doesn't want it on Russia's terms, which you'll understand because Russia invaded his country.
But he said, I don't want a ceasefire. He made that comment to Trump.
He said he doesn't want a ceasefire if he knows that Putin is just going to renege on it a couple of months later, which is fair enough, isn't it? Because he's done that repeatedly, you will accept.
Exactly.
No, not exactly. I mean, the point is that, of course, anyone wants a ceasefire, but there's no point in having a ceasefire, is there? Which is what Zelensky was saying to Trump, if Putin is just going to renege on it shortly afterwards.
And Trump was saying, how do you really know? I mean, if you're really coming from that position, that no one can guarantee anything. But if you don't move forward to get something into an agreement and then be able to put the right But what has
Putin said that gives you or President Trump any indication at all that he even wants a ceasefire? Putin has said he doesn't want a ceasefire at this point.
Putin is... Look, I'm not here to have an argument because you clearly have a position that I don't agree with.
What would that be? What would that position be?
Well,
I mean, we would both agree, wouldn't we, for a start, that Putin started the war?
Yeah, what I would say is that Putin legally violated international law. Morally, he thought he was right, and strategically...
But you would agree that morally he was wrong?
I know I would not agree morally is wrong. I would agree legally he was wrong.
You would agree, you would not think that a man who literally, as we speak, still sends drone attacks to kill Ukrainian civilians is morally wrong?
Oh, and you think that Ukraine isn't doing anything to the Russians?
Ukraine didn't invade Russia. Russia invaded Ukraine. That you wouldn't agree that was morally wrong?
Okay, all right. You know what? That is 3 years ago.
Right. So if we were sat in 1942, would you have been on the radio going, "Look, don't worry about it. Hitler invaded Poland 3 years ago"?
You know what? I didn't sign on for this hypothetical discussion.
It's not hypothetical. I'm just trying to tease out the logic of what you're saying, Dr. Halper Hayes.
One is that James Baker and Thatcher and Mitterrand and Kohl, etc., had promised that NATO would not move 1 inch eastward, and that was violated.
Those
so
countries.
You want to look at all the different people that violated their agreement?
When did America start basically just sort of representing what Moscow thinks? Those countries wanted to be part of the NATO club. Your club. Are you saying that they should never have been allowed to exercise their democratic and sovereign rights as nations and join that club?
Oh, God. You know what? I don't like having my words twisted. No. I really don't.
You don't like... Well, that's the point of an interview, isn't it? Is to discuss what you're saying. And I'm just asking you... You're saying... With respect, Doctor, I'm just trying to understand what you're saying. You're saying that those countries should never have been allowed to join NATO, and then we wouldn't have been in this situation. And I'm saying to you that surely those countries should have been allowed...
I didn't say that. Well, see, that's why... No, hold on a minute.
But you cited what happened in the... so you're saying that it's fine for them to join NATO, then?
I didn't say any of those things, and I don't like when someone tries to give words and interpret without understanding. I'm done. Okay. I'm off. I don't like you.
Okay. Well, that's fine, Dr. Halper Hayes. Maybe some of the listeners won't like you, but that's fine. I'm entirely indifferent to that. I'm very grateful for your time. Dr. Jan Halper Hayes there, former Global Vice President of Republicans overseas. Apparently I'm not going to be on her Christmas card list. Maybe I will be with Oliver in Harlesden, though. Oliver.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good morning, still just about.
Good morning. What a disrespectful low-life leader is Mr. Zelensky. Oh, my God, this guy.
A low-life? What? He's been bravely leading his country for 3 years, Oliver.
Okay, listen. I'm going to be very quick here. I'm not going to be as technical as you or the other listener. Listen, you go into America, you're not even bothered to wear suits. You just go with that.
Come on.
Yes,
so you're saying that when Winston Churchill visited the White House in the 1940s, he should have worn a suit?
Okay, listen.
Does that matter?
Okay, listen. He's going to see the most powerful leader on the planet.
Yeah.
Come on, have some respect. And the way he went on in the video, he was so disrespectful.
What about Elon Musk? Elon Musk don't wear a suit in the White House. Doesn't seem to matter to Donald Trump.
I'm not talking about Elon Musk.
Well, no, but you're the one.
No, please don't stop. Please. Let me finish, please. He's going to see Trump. Yeah, the most powerful leader of the planet, and he went off about small details.
Is the President of the United States so petty that he would genuinely have a massive row with someone? If he was really committed, if he thought that Ukraine had justice on its side, are we really saying that the President of the United States and the Vice President are so petty that they'll let it all just get out of hand just because of what the President of Ukraine is wearing?
Can I finish my statement, please?
Well, no, I'm just asking you a question.
Please? Yeah, but no, you're not asking me because you just talk over me, sir.
No, okay.
I'm finishing very
You're saying something ridiculous, so,
Oh, my, yeah, okay. You're a bully. Oh, my goodness, you're unprofessional.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. Oh, I tell you what, can we get through 3 calls now without someone hanging up?
Wow, fair play. That was genuinely entertaining. But more than that, it was revealing. Because what you just watched wasn't some dramatic shouting match. It was what happens when a well-rehearsed script meets actual resistance. These die-hard Trump defenders can recite their lines fluently until someone interrupts the rhythm. The moment there's pushback, the moment there's a direct follow-up question, the confidence evaporates. Suddenly the certainty turns into hesitation, and the talking points start sounding hollow. And that's the pattern, isn't it? These MAGA-aligned commentators are used to friendly platforms where they can glide from one claim to the next without being challenged. But when someone like Goodall calmly asks, "Okay, but what do you mean?" the structure collapses. You could hear it. Every time he pressed her on specifics, there was scrambling. Not clarity, not evidence. Scrambling. That's not strength. That's someone realizing the argument doesn't hold up under scrutiny. And let's talk about that moving eastward rhetoric, framing democratic nations choosing their own alliances as some kind of provocation. That's not a neutral argument. That mirrors narratives we've heard coming straight out of Moscow for years. In the West, The core principle is simple. Sovereign countries decide their own future. That's democracy. It's not for larger powers to dictate what smaller nations can or cannot do. When those lines start getting blurred, it should raise eyebrows. What stood out most here wasn't anger. It was composure. Goodall didn't shout. He didn't grandstand. He just refused to let evasions pass unchallenged. And honestly, we need more of that, especially in the United States. Too often, interviews turn into platforms rather than examinations. A claim gets made. The host nods. We move on. That's how narratives survive without evidence. When guests know they'll face real pushback, they prepare differently. Or they reconsider whether to come on at all. That's healthy. Journalism isn't about being hostile. It's about being rigorous. And if more reporters adopted that same standard of calm but relentless questioning, we'd probably see a lot fewer confident soundbites and a lot more accountability. But I want to hear from you. What did you make of that exchange? Was that the kind of scrutiny you think political figures should face more often? Let me know your thoughts.